Hello, happy Halloween, everybody. 31st of October. Just going to paint on this nice burnt sienna background. There's my palette, it's my metal tin. The size of this canvas is about 16 by 12 inches. And start waving my hairy stick about, see what we can get. Just going to establish a quick horizon as always. Yeah, happy Halloween. Hope you're all feeling suitably spooky. Yeah, growing up, many a Halloween party, being dressed up as various things. Most of the time it was my mum sacrificing a bedsheet and cutting holes in for me and my brother to be a pair of ghosts. Yeah, it's not a bad sky, not a bad start that. Nice and stormy. Just got back from OSPB Conway because I volunteer there and I help out with parties, school groups, events, you name it. And part of my role is making sure the windows are clean. You took on the hides, the coffee shop, visitor centre, everything else. And absolutely bloody lashed it down. I was doing the hides this week, and God Almighty, I feel quite cold and shivery now. Regretted it. But yeah, it was a nice dramatic sky over the reserve today. Plenty of rainbows and stuff. Yeah, speaking of Halloween, um, I've got a photograph somewhere of me and my brother, in the mid 80s, perhaps even earlier. Perhaps early 80s, both with a plastic mask on. And for some reason, we had a Mac on each, looked like a pair of serial killers with plastic masks, complete with hair and everything else. Yeah, we had some good Halloween parties in our village, at the local village hall. And there'd be, all the black lace songs like Superman and Agadoo and all that business. We'd have the birdie song and all kinds of stuff, as cheesy as you like. But yeah, it was a big do. The whole village would show up. And I don't think a year went by when, my dad had always instigate it, always start a conga line off. And, when the Let's Go Do the Conga song came on, and people would join in round the village hall, and my dad would lead the chain outside the village hall and do a lap of the village hall. And I remember one year it went out of the village hall, down the road to the pub and through the pub and past the church, past the village shop, and all went round the village. There's a huge conga line, about 200 people in it, and eventually made its way back. Really funny. Yeah, we used to have some good village parties. Normally involve fancy dress, and they dress up as something every year. And I can't. It was one summer, and I can't remember. I think it was raising money for the church roof or something. They did a fancy dress thing, and the theme was Morris dancers. So everyone was dressed in, all white. We got all Morris dancing stuff with complete with ribbons and hankies and sticks and bells and hats with flowers in, all sorts of stuff. It was very elaborate. There was a lot of effort went into it just to raise money. And we even had a man dressed up with a stick and a balloon on the end to collect money, and there was even a bloke bought his big harmonica thing down, his squeeze box, and everyone trooped off down to the pub. That was always the focal point for things going on, and everyone was having a laugh and a pint and everything. And I thought it'd be funny just to do a bit of Morris dancing out the front of the pub. There was only a few people there. So, and I were there togged up as well, and all my stuff and bells. And there's no one, nobody ever Morris danced in their lives. We'd seen Morris dancers. Being a English country village, there was Morris dancers every summer. But we'd never actually danced, so we were doing it, and we had the music going with the harmonica, and everyone was skipping around in a circle, waving hankies about. And we were doing it at this village green outside the front of the pub. And you get normal flow of tourists coming through. All the tourists were driving through the village and stopping and going, "Oh look, there's Morris dancers." So they'd stop and watched, and a coach pulled up, and perhaps even two coaches pulled up and emptied onto the green, watching the Morris men. Now, unbeknownst to them, we weren't an actual Morris dancing group. We'd never done it in our lives, But yeah, people loved it, absolutely loved it. They thought it was the real McCoy. But we made a huge amount of money for the church roof doing that. Went round collecting money. It was great success. But yeah, it was a good laugh, had by all. Yeah, there's always fancy dress parties all through the year. Bit of village spirit. I remember one year, it was, I guess it was early 90s. It's when Saddam Hussein was up to his old tricks. And one New Year's Eve, not going to mention his name, but he looked identical to Saddam Hussein in every way. He had the same moustache and same hair and everything, same build, and he put on a load of fake tan, and he got hold of an Iraqi general's uniform and dressed in that, and even had deactivated handgun in a holster. It was identical, with medals and everything else like that, and a berry. It was unbelievable. Really funny. Yeah, yeah, happy days. Yeah, let's have a look. We're almost 10 minutes in, and we have a painting that looks kind of Peak Districty. Not too bad, nice sky. I do love burnt sienna as an underpainting. Really does help the tones. Yeah, when it's 1995 when it was the 50th anniversary of VE Day. We had a huge street party. It was a fantastic atmosphere. That was in front of the pub. I've still got photographs of that. You know, the long tables and everyone dressed up. It was amazing, amazing day. Yeah, it was a full day of events. You know, there was a bit of a fair on, and there was rides and all sorts going on, and that was it in the afternoon. We had this big street party. It's fantastic, and everybody came out for that. Even people in the village who kept themselves to themselves even came out dressed up. It was really nice. Just paused just to check my camera was still switched on. So I've got headphones on and listening to music. So I have to keep switching the camera off every 5 to 10 minutes of doing a film, so it doesn't overheat my camera. And I sometimes turn it off and forget to switch it back on again. And I don't, you know, the camera clicks onto standby, but I can't hear the click if I've got music on, so I have to keep checking that it's actually recording. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with the sky. I'm quite like that light patch down on the foreground there, the right hand side. That's quite helpful. Could leave that on there. Yeah, there was love the opportunity to get dressed up as something silly. One Christmas I drove to see my parents in a tiger onesie. Just get got some right looks. Yeah, I had used to have a pirate costume, a proper Pirates of the Caribbean one, Johnny Depp style. You know, with the long hair and proper hat and a jacket and all the rest of it, cutlass. And yeah, I've worn that a few times. Driven to work wearing that on more than one occasion in previous jobs. Quite pleased with the sky so far. It'll do me. Yeah, I'd love to hear any ghost stories that you have. I'm always a fan of ghost stories. For my one viewer who's watching this, I do love listening to ghost stories. I've got an open mind when it comes to that. I've seen hundreds of bloody ghosts. And whether it's down to spirits roaming about or if it was my mental state at the time, I don't know. But I've seen bloody loads. Never been able to explain it. Used to work in a nursing home, won't mention the name of it for confidentiality, but that was very strange. That was haunted by children, and it was quite a large home. I think it was 48 residents off the top of my head, nursing residential. Now, it was rife. It was all over the home, particularly on the upper floors, that the elderly residents would leave sweets and gifts outside the doors. And we'd ask, why have you left them outside? So, they're for the children, which I thought was strange. We all thought was very strange. But the odd thing was, it was a big building, as I say. Now, at one wing of the building, you had people leaving sweets out. But then it had happened on a totally different end of the building. They'd leave sweets out for the children, which was weird because, it's not as if the residents would have all spoken about it. Because many have dementia and things like that. And they might not have even met each other, these various residents who were leaving sweets out. So it was very mysterious. Yeah, one lady was kept up all night because she had children playing in a room, and that used to happen most nights, that you'd hear of children playing. And I can think of a few occasions where I heard children giggling, broad daylight. And obviously in a nursing home there's not a vast amount of children. But I searched the corridors, there was no children around. On quite a few occasions I heard that. And then one occasion I was talking to a resident who had her back to a door out into the corridor, and a child passed the doorway. Now, which isn't unusual because we have visitors, obviously, but the odd thing was it was half a child. That was the weird thing. And it wasn't like the top half of the child or the bottom half of the child. This child was cut lengthways, which was very odd. So I could only really see that the child, which I'm convinced was a girl, could see a nose, the top of her head, a chin, and the front of her body, but the back of her body was missing, which was very odd. My face must have looked like a picture. I didn't react, I didn't want to scare the resident I was talking to, but my face must have looked like a picture. Yeah, there's always stuff going on around that particular place. Very spooky. But again, it could have been my mental state, I could have been tired, I don't know. It was very odd. Yes, it's coming on nice. I think we're nearly there with it, Not going to overdo it. I'm getting that feeling, that little tingly feeling that we're finished. The quickest paintings tend to be my best. You know, the paintings that are doing 20 minutes to half an hour. They're my favourite. Yeah, I wouldn't have liked to work the night shift in that home, that's for sure. Yeah, I think we're very nearly there. We're just about dandy. Let's put some little finishing touches on. And thank you so much for watching my videos and subscribing and liking. Don't forget to subscribe, even if you think it's bobbins. It'd be nice if you could subscribe, because I get better every day. And follow me on this momentous journey that I'm undertaking, my creative journey. And don't forget, as well as YouTube, you can see me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WordPress, and johnkid.co.uk. Yeah, I think we are jobs are good 'un. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.